All right, welcome back to Politics and Profits. I'm Rick Amato. Of course, the midterms are coming up in November, and with inflation, gas prices, crime, polarization at its all-time high, people are expecting a red wave come November. One of those states has its upcoming primary, June 28th, that all of America is looking at, a state that needs help, and that is Illinois, where the incumbent Democrat governor is up for re-election. One of the leading candidates on the Republican side has drawn a lot of attention. He comes from a blue-collar background, worked as a paperboy growing up as an example. After high school, he started paving driveways and soon ended up launching, building, creating a 50-state paving company, a paving company available in 50 states, I should say, now earning revenue of over $100 million a year. I tell you that, obviously, because it is the American dream. He has gained the endorsements of none other than Ronald Reagan's former economic advisor, Art Laffer, Donald Trump's former nominee for the Federal Reserve Board's Stephen Moore, and he helped launch Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. With a background like that, with that sort of candidate in the field, we thought we should introduce him to our audience. Joining us at this time from Illinois is Gary Rabine on the campaign trail. He's known as It's Rabine Time. Gary, good to have you with us. How is the campaign going?
Rick, it's great being with you today. The campaign's going very well. We're really establishing some nice traction in the last month. We're tracking for the number 2 spot. It looks like, and maybe tracking for number 1. But I don't pay for a lot of polls and don't watch them too tightly. We're just working really hard.
The polls are very, very unreliable these days. I was trying to find the right word, unreliable. So I don't blame you for not watching them closely. You've got that amazing American dream background. Art Laffer, who I've known for years, has endorsed you. Stephen Moore has been on this show, has endorsed you. Tell us about what you stand for, Gary. What does the Gary Rabine campaign stand for?
Yeah, so really, Rick, I stand for preserving this American dream that I've been so blessed to be part of. Over the last 40 years, I've been building businesses and turning around businesses in construction services trades. More lately, we've added a couple technology companies to our portfolio. The Rabine Group is about 150 million of revenues between 13 small to mid-sized companies, and we love what we do. We service our customers across America in the facilities, construction, services trade, so paving, roofing, and other things. I got to tell you, this Illinois American dream is dissolving fast. I have 3 grandchildren I love so much. They're 1, 3, and 6 years old, and my nightmare is that we don't have the availability of this Illinois American dream as they grow up and they get into the working world. So that's my nightmare. I don't think we're that far away from that if we continue on this trend and we continue to let this crazy Marxist socialist movement gain ground.
Oh boy, it is gaining ground. We're just looking at the mayor there in Chicago. Gary, as you said, your concern is the American dream is leaving Illinois. And that may be the answer to my next question I want to ask, and that is, what are the key concerns you see facing the voters in Illinois?
Yeah, so Rick, there's a bunch of things, right? Culturally and economics are what we have to focus on turning around. I've turned around businesses. I've had some blessings of some fun turnarounds where we look at the product that's being delivered at the cost we're charging, or somebody we're buying out is charging, and we see there's a disconnect, right? Whether it's too expensive of a product or not a great enough product that they're delivering at even a competitive price. And so what we have in Illinois is we are missing on both those things. We aren't delivering a very good product anymore at all, and the cost of this product is the highest in America. So my thing is this: economically, we have to do 2 things. We have to reduce regulations on small businesses across our state and all businesses, to keep them here, keep them growing here, and get businesses to want to be in our once great state. You do that, and that changes a lot. Second thing we have to do is this, Rick. We are the highest property tax country in America today. Where I live, our property, on a $200,000 property, you're going to pay about $8,000 in property tax. The average in the country is less than $2,000. That discrepancy is huge for families starting out, or even families looking to retire. That has to stop. So what I'm looking at is the reduction of property taxes down to the average of the country, which is at 1%. We do that, people will feel pretty good about owning property in Illinois, commercially and residentially. And when we reduce regulations on small businesses, businesses will thrive again. That's the economic side. It's happened before in other states in the country. My economic advisors, as you mentioned, my friends, Art Laffer and Steve Moore, have been there and done this before, and we're going to do it in Illinois. When we look at the cultural issues of Illinois, I'm telling you, we're losing people because of cultural issues, because our schools are falling apart. This CRT and the indoctrination we have in our schools in Illinois are some of the worst in the country, for sure. When we look at our policing in Illinois, what we're doing to our law-abiding families, by catering to the criminals, we got problems there too. So these problems are all very solvable. But when you have a mayor of Chicago and a governor of our state that take the most pride they take is in making us the abortion capital of America, or the abortion oasis, okay? We got big problems. But to solve these problems, a conservative like me in office can get it done fast.
Big issues. You nailed it right on the head, Gary. I mean, come on, regulation, property taxes, that just drains business, it drains individual families. And of course, CRT is it's a fantasy. All right, Gary Rabine, we're going to come back after the break. When we do, I want to talk about some of the opponents you're facing and how you contrast against them. All right, Rabine time, as they say in Illinois. After the break, we continue with not one of the candidate on the Republican side who stands out, Gary Rabine, back after this. Welcome back to Politics and Profits. I continue with Republican candidate for governor in Illinois, Gary Rabine. Gary, one of the remarkable items about your background is that you actually were the lead plaintiff and won a lawsuit decided at the Supreme Court level against President Joe Biden's requirement to have employer vaccine mandates. You opposed that because of what it does to employers and employees, and you won. Amazing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Rick. So for 20 years of my business, I worked in the field, paving parking lots and doing asphalt and concrete work. But the last 20 years, I've been working, on my business and scaling it across America. At the same time, I've been blessed to be a couple of great organizations. One, Job Creators Network, where I was one of the founders in it with Bernie Marcus. It was his idea. I was one of the first CEOs brought in to be a partner in building that. We've got over 400,000 small businesses today that are part of Job Creators Network. Wow. It's a great organization. Alfredo Ortiz does an amazing job as a CEO. And when this president, this crazy president, believed that all of us businesses should be demanding a vaccination on our employees, in my opinion, a experimental vaccination, by the way, I knew that was wrong. So I had a conversation with Alfredo Ortiz, our CEO, and we began searching for attorneys. And soon after, found a great firm to represent us. We started that lawsuit as soon as he got the paperwork drawn up in October. And January 14th of this year, we won what was one of the biggest cases in a case of freedom, medical freedom ever, right? And I got to tell you, it was a blessing to be part of it. January 14th, it was over 80 million people that we represented in that working Americans that would have had to take a vaccine or been fired, including my own teammates in my businesses. So again, we knew it was wrong. We knew it was unconstitutional, and the U.S. Supreme Court, thank God, agreed with us. It was a blessing to be part of it, and I'll continue to do that the rest of my life. I'll continually fight for freedom and small businesses. It's what I do. I'm very passionate about it. I was part of building Turning Point USA as well. Same thing. We want to fight and to educate kids on the blessings of freedom, the blessings of America, and the ruins that socialism and communists will create.
Gary, that passion that you reference And you also say that it's who you are in this fight. It comes across. It comes across when you communicate. It comes across in this interview. One can feel your authenticity and your energy. And I tip my hat to you. And it goes back to your whole idea of wanting to reduce regulation against small businesses. I mean, that's a part of what this mandate was, an unhealthy perhaps, and another layer of regulation.
Yeah, what I want to talk about, Rick, is the difference. It would have been detrimental also. Our inflation is out of control right now, right? But what would have done? What would inflation be like today if of those 80 million working Americans, and they estimate 15 to 20 million of those people, my teammates, employees included, right? A big percentage of those people would not have taken the vaccination, would be getting unemployment, and our supply chain is wrecked already. How bad could it have gotten with another 15 or 20 million people out of the working Americans out of work?
Oh, horrible, horrible. Let's segue in our remaining moments and take a moment and talk about your opponents. I mean, I'm hearing that these Republican candidates against you in the primary are really sort of Democrats posing as Republicans. What's up with that?
Yeah, Rick, you know what? I tell you, I've never seen anything like this in my life, right? When I followed politics heavily the last 20 years, I've always voted Republican. I've got of the top 4 candidates that we have in this race that I'm amongst. The other 3 have all voted in Democratic primaries, which just amazes me, right? But one of them has voted 7 of the last 8 Democratic primaries, and he's got $50 million invested in his race. Another one has only voted once in a Republican primary, and he's got Silicon Valley money, left-wing money out of Silicon Valley in the race under him, right? The other person has been a politician for a long time, and he, again, voted Democrat also in a Democrat primary. It amazes me that it should be even close, but I'm going to have $4 or $5, maybe $6 million spent in this race, which would normally be a pretty good amount of money for a primary, right? But my opponents have anywhere from $12 to $50 million against me. Now I'm polling really well, and I'm going to win this thing. But it's because, in my opinion, we've got very weak opponents. I think we've got a Democratic state that's trying to stack the deck against us as conservatives.
All right, Gary Rabine. Before we go, let me just say a couple things. Number one, keep up the good fight. Number 2, hey, I'm not Art Laffer. I'm not Stephen Moore. I do have a good, passionate following. I'm blessed with that. For what it's worth, I'd like to say I'm endorsing your candidacy in the state of Illinois. Feel free to do what you want with that. It's not Art Laffer, not Stephen Moore, but we have some passionate followers we're blessed with. We need people like you. That grassroots, Main Street America, small business passion, not inside the beltway lobbyist payoffs. That's why. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rick. We need statesmen. I'm running because I believe we need statesmen, business people, military people that don't come from politics, that have common sense and can't be bought. I mean, that's my goal, my life, the rest of my life is to inspire people to do what I'm doing now across our great country. And with over 400,000 people in the organization that I was part of founding and Job Creators Network, with Turning Point USA, where we have many, many young people, I'm going to inspire people the rest of my life to run and be statesmen instead of politicians, career politicians, to serve and then go back home and do your business, whatever it is, whether it's farming or paving or whatever it is, professional business, whatever it is. Serve like our great military leaders do, and our friends in our military do, and then go back to business or whatever you do. We do that, and we change our country.
Well put. Statesmen, not career politicians. Our viewers in Illinois, go out and vote Gary Rabine. Gary, we thank you for joining us.
It's Rabine time.
Rabine time. Back with more on Your America TV after this.